Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important current affairs that happened in our today's in the newspaper dated 30th October 2025. So let's get started with our discussion, guys. Before getting started, let us see the important topics of the day. So first topic is US doing a trade deal with India. So as you all know that US imposed 50% of tariff on Indian goods and now we are going to have a trade deal. And this topic is important from international relations and as well as economy point of view. Our next topic is 500 Indians taking shelter in Thailand to be repatriated. So we are going to bring back 500 Indians from Thailand and this is very important from our international relations again. And next topic is study reveals rare different traits in Indian frogs. So actually scientists they studied different traits in two frogs and we have to see how they are adapting that different trait and why they are adapting that new kind of different traits. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology which comes in as GS paper 3. And next topic is IT industry, a major contributor to carbon footprint report finds. So actually till today we discussed that in industries and as well as vehicular pollution causing this carbon dioxide pollution or carbon dioxide release into atmosphere. But now the recent study says that IT industry is a major contributor. So this article is important again, environment and ecology from GS paper 3. Our next topic is developing nations need 12 times more funds to fight climate crisis. So in our yesterday's class, I discussed about this INDCs in our ethics class, right? So here, this article is saying that developing countries and least developed countries need more funds to fight against climate change. And it is again important from your environment and ecology. Our next topic is an amended constitution bill, its contentious issues. So this article is talking about 130th Constitution Amendment Bill and we have to see what are the provisions of that bill and that is important from your polity, guys. So these all are the topics that we are going to discuss in this class. Now let us see the first article. Look at the title clearly. US doing a trade deal with India, says Trump. Okay, to understand this, you have to know the basics of this India-US relations. So the key word of this article is India-US relations. From which subject we can see this, guys? Yes, from GS paper 2 under international relations we can see. And even we can see this topic from GS paper 3 under economy, guys. Okay, if you want to know the background, you have to go back to the time where this Trump came into power. Trump 2.0 era started. And at that time, Trump came up with lots of protectionism measures. So as part of that, what they did, they started imposing tariffs. So they started imposing tariffs on countries, on around more than 56 countries they imposed tariff. For what? To maintain trade balance. So with which countries they have this trade deficit, on those countries they are imposing these tariffs to maintain their trade. And even one more reason why they are imposing tariffs is to protect their domestic industries. And not only that, other steps taken by this Trump 2.0 era was they sent back Indians who are staying in this US back by using especially military aircrafts. And next is they came up with restrictions on this H-1B visa. For what? To restrict entry of other country people to US. So all these are the steps taken by this Trump after he came into power for the second time. And not only that, they came up with one act called as Russian Sanction Act of 2025 and they started imposing extra tariffs, double tariffs on countries which are doing trade with Russia regarding oil and energy. So why they came up with this Russian Sanction Act? To end this Russia-Ukraine war. So what is the allegation of US here? US says that Russia is continuing this Ukraine war because it is getting good economy, good income from selling of oil and as well as gas to different countries. So we have to cut that. Okay, all these are happening in this 2.0 era of Trump. So if you see what is the impact on India especially is, first one is they started imposing of 50% of tariff on Indian goods. So because of this 50% of tariff, do we have any impact? First one is we decreased our exports to US. And which sectors have been affected most because of this 50% tariffs? Textiles. Next one is gold and jewelry. Next one is shrimp or seafood of India and leather industries, especially labor intensive sector of our country got affected. So if you're decreasing our exports to this US, then what happened? There is also increasing of unemployment also in our country. So because of this, recently what steps we took regarding this to overcome this? Regarding shrimp, we came up with this MSC certification. Yes or no? MSC certification for our seafood so that we are going to export to other countries. And next, what are the other steps? Government came up with concluding of FTAs with different countries. And even wherever we are attending different kinds of summits and different kinds of meetings of different organizations, we are also going for improving of bilateral relations and as well as trade with those countries as well. And recently, Japan came up with an opportunity for Indians. What is its opportunities? So we are going to send how many Indians? The first batch, 50,000 skilled and semi-skilled workers to Japan under specialized visa to US. And not only that, even China and other countries are also came up with this one more visa called as K visa. Yes or no? To attract Indians. So like that, across the world and even India is taking lot of steps to contain this impact of 50% of tariff on Indian goods. So now what happened, whatever the relationship that we had between India and US, is it strained or not? There is decreasing of relationship between India and US because of the steps taken by US. And if the relationship between the countries are affecting, will that country will become a big power? Actually, what is the aim of US? US wants to become a big power. But now because of all these steps, what is happening here? The relationship between other countries is straining day by day. So because of this, now US wants to become a big power and wants to come up with a trade deal with India, guys. So here we are attending meeting at this APEC. So in this APEC organization, US came up with a statement that we are going to have a trade deal with India and we want to revitalize relationship with India. So that is about this article, guys. So you want to know what is happening in the present context, all these things that you have to know which had happening from last 3 to 4 months. Clear? So just recall what is happening in geopolitics. Okay, now let us see exactly what is happening now. What is that statement made by this US President Donald Trump? Donald Trump said that they are going to come up with a trade deal with India. Why? Because India and US are the best friends. So we want to maintain relationship. That is a statement which is given by this Donald Trump now at this APEC summit, guys. So why this trade deal is happening now? Because actually US having one important aim, that is nothing but it wants to become a big power. And especially if you are having this reciprocal trade, that means if the trade is happening between the two countries, then only they will leads to the increasing of trade ties and as well as economy and as well as good relationship between the country. So they want to go for maintaining of good relations with with India. And next one here is, because of this US high tariffs on Indian goods, which mainly erodes competitiveness of our Indian exports. So to provide relief for our Indian export and as well as exporters, now US is coming up with this step, because actually there are lots of global shocks are happening, and even we are going to come up with this bilateral trade agreement with this US. As part of this, they are going to is restrictions on our Indian exports. And next one here is actually US and India are together, they are maintaining friendship to counter this China. So if India and US are not maintaining good relations, can we counter China together? No, that is also one important reason why we are going to have this trade deal now. And what are the impacts of this trade deal? Again, there will be decreasing of tariffs on our Indian goods so that we can increase our exports to US and we can increase our trade between US and India. So we can normalize our ties. And next one here is we can strengthen India-US anti-China axis also because of this deal so that we can ensure regional stability and we can also focus on energy security, and in long term it will be also very much helpful for India regarding employment, regarding maintaining of forex reserves and even rupee value, employment opportunities for all this thing. So this will be a win-win situation for both India and as well as US guys. And you have to see what is this APEC. Please make a note of this APEC. It is nothing but Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. So there are around 21 economies which are included in this APEC. And the important objectives of this APEC is to improve sustainable economic growth between the countries and to promote regional economic integration, and even they want to enhance cooperation between the member economies as well, and they want to focus on investment liberalization, business facilitation, economic and technical cooperation between the countries. So it is entire regarding economy of the countries, guys. Okay, now let us see the next article. Look at the title. 500 Indians taking shelter in Thailand to be repatriated. So actually India is conducting a mission in Thailand. So where is this Thailand located? Can you recall the location? Southeast Asia, right? So what happened here is India is conducting a mission in Thailand and we are working very close with the Thailand authorities to bring back this illegally human trafficking happened in India, and around 500 Indians were trafficked to Thailand. And now in Thailand, these people are working in this cyber issues. They are doing cyber crimes, guys. So because of this, our country is coordinating with this Thailand to bring them back. Okay, so why these people went to Thailand? So how this human trafficking happened? So there are different websites, different people who will be involving in this organized crime of human trafficking. So actually, do you know, you will be getting sometimes calls, do you want to do job, like that. So because of this fake job opportunities, 500 Indians were trafficked to Thailand and now they are forced to work in this cyber crimes case. Okay, so because of this, now we are going to get back. What is the meaning of repatriation? Repatriation is nothing but we are going to coordinate with other country officials or authorities and we are going to bring our Indians back from that country. This process is called as repatriation. Okay, now here you have to see map of Thailand, where it is located exactly, and you have to see which are the countries sharing boundary with Thailand. Okay, very important. And even you have to see whether India and Thailand are members of any grouping or not. If yes, you have to make a list of that groupings as well. So you may get prelims based question regarding that. Now let us see the context. So recent reports which indicates that approximately 500 Indian nationals are being repatriated from Thailand after fleeing a notorious cyber crime center in Myanmar. In one cyber crime center in Myanmar, they are working. So we got certain details regarding those people and now we started process of bringing them back to our country, guys. And these people were trafficked and on the name of especially fraudulent job schemes in Southeast Asia, they were trafficked. Okay, now if you see the details, it is saying that a military operation against the cyber crime compounds like KK Park in Myanmar, a significant number of foreign nationals, including 500 Indians, they crossed into Thailand seeking refugees. So actually what happened was, based on this fraudulent job offers, around 500 Indians, they were trafficked to Myanmar, and from that Myanmar, they went to this Thailand as refugees, guys, because they are not finding any security in this Myanmar and they went to Thailand for refugees. And we got information from this Thailand so that we are going for repatriation, guys. And it is our responsibility. And you have to know this kind of issues, because if you're getting this IFS, Indian Foreign Service, you have to deal with this kind of issues. You have to take care of people of India who entered into other countries illegally or legally, whatever it may be. So you have to take care of our Indian citizens. So you have to know this kind of issues, where it is happening, and with which country, which kind of issues that we are facing. We don't know like in which country you'll be getting posted if you get this IFS. So you have to know clearly about that country and what is the issue with that country and what kind of measures we can take, whether we are having good relations or bad relations, whether we have any agreements with that country or not, if that country is part of any organization where India and that country are present together. So like that you have to dig in deep regarding everything regarding this international relations case. Okay, so what is the impact? So whenever individuals are trafficked, so is that according to our constitution? So there are fundamental rights. Article 23 and Article 24 talks about rights against exploitation. So because of this human trafficking, it is violating those fundamental rights. And even we have even different acts like immoral trafficking act, etc. Even it is also legally incorrect. But here we have to think like, even the lots of times we have laws, we have different acts, we have different schemes of government and even constitutional safeguard, but why this trafficking is still a big problem in our country? That means you have to see about what are the loopholes in our country which are leading to this organized crimes. Okay, you have to see that. And if you see, whenever this kind of human trafficking is happening, it will be having impact on the individuals, like victimization. There will be trauma for these people, and actually they don't know like whether which kind of job they are doing exactly, but because of lack of employment opportunities in our country, so here especially youth are going towards other countries in sake of doing jobs, and they are trafficked in this way. There will be lots of psychological fear and as well as distress and sense of betrayal, and even they lost their money, financial loss, and even they will involve in legal complexities when they were caught. And if you see what is the impact of India, so we can lose our reputation and we can lose good relations with the countries if we are having this kind of issues with any other countries. And next one here is we're also going to have national security concerns, because whenever other country people they are employing Indians under the cyber related crimes, everything to do this, then what happens? So these people can do the cyber crimes in India, right? So if you want to do the cyber crimes, you should not, there is no need of staying only in India. Anywhere in the world, you can attack websites, you can attack accounts of people, you can do morphing, everything it is possible because of AI. So because of this, there will be national security concerns for India also. And next one here is we have to manage repatriation. So repatriation will not happen easily, right? We have to arrange one flight, and again we have to talk with authorities, again the time taking process, and as well as we have to invest resources also. Already our country is not having proper funds. Again, it will be a huge burden on our government. And what can be done here? So we have to go for awareness campaigns, especially youth who are using the social media platforms, and if they are applying for the job in the foreign countries, they need to go for proper immigration process and immigration process. We have certain organizations, yes or no, so we have to go legally, we should not go illegally. So especially we have to improve awareness in the students. And this one here is we have to go for proper enhanced verification mechanisms. So we have to go for verification of employer, where you are working other countries, who is that employer, whether that company is fraud or original. So like that we have to go for even in-depth verification process. And this one is we have to go for international law enforcement cooperation. So especially we have to go for deepening of relationship between India and as well as Southeast Asian countries, so that we can dismantle these kind of criminal networks. And next one is we have to go for rehabilitation and support. So after once we brought them back, society will not accept them that much easily, right? So they need certain time. In this time we have to go for proper rehabilitation of this people, and even government has to provide certain support during this time. And next one is we have to go for reviewing of our legal frameworks, or else whatever the acts or laws which are present, if they are not sufficient to punish these people, we have to come up with a new laws with strengthened norms and provisions, guys. Okay, see this article, guys. Can you see the image of frog, what it is doing? Not jumping. Exactly. So there are two images, right? So normally frog will be appearing like this. So here you can see forelimbs and hind limbs both were raised. So normally can we see this kind, like whether this frog will be standing on its forelegs? No. Actually, these are like very rare different traits that we can see in this Indian frogs recently. So recently what happened? Because of invasive alien species, because of climate change, not only humans but even these animals are also getting new threats. And if they want to survive, they have to come up with this new defense mechanisms. So can you recall this Darwin's theory? Darwin says that survival of the fittest, only the fittest person will be surviving in that environment. If they are not getting that kind of new type of defense traits, they will lose their life, they cannot survive in this environment. So because of this, recently scientists they found that two important and very rare defense traits they came up. Actually normally frog will be seen like this, right? So actually what this frog is doing is whenever they are having any threats, so it is bulging it, the increasing of size of the frog is happening. So that is a one mechanism. And second mechanism is they are standing on this hind limbs and as well as fore limbs, so that the size of this frog will be more, so that if there is any organism which is coming to attack this frog, it is like showing its anger through this way, guys. So in this way they are overcoming their challenges. And this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. Let us see where we can see this kind of mechanism. So recent study by the scientists from Delhi University, they documented remarkable and previously unrecorded different strategies in two types of frogs. So first one is Apatani horned toad. So this Apatani is tribe. Can you recall the tribe? So these people will be having rare nose rings like that. Apatani tribe. So actually this Apatani tribe are present in this Arunachal Pradesh. In that region only they found one Apatani horned toad, and it is a nocturnal frog. Nocturnal frog means it will be active during night time. During this night time only it will be coming outside to search its prey. It is a nocturnal frog and it came up with a multi-pronged defense when threatened. So it will inflate its body. So as you all know that if you inhale more air, what happens? Your lung size will be increased. In the same way, it will take more air into the body and it will inflate its size. So whenever the inflation happens, what happens? The size of this frog will be increased. Okay, and even it bites its aggressor by inflating, after inflating its body, and it will start attacking that any other animal which is attacking that. So here the combination of inflation, vocalization and biting, they are the rare defense actions or defense traits that are observed in this Apatani frogs. And second one is bicolored frog. It is found in Western Ghats, and this is diurnal species. Diurnal means nothing but it is active during daytime. So it can go for searching of its food prey in this morning time only, and it came up with a different strategy. When this frog is disturbed by any other organism, now it arches its bodies upward by vertically extending its limbs. So now this body of this frog will be extended. So it will be standing on its four legs. This posture is believed to make the frog appear larger, and in this way it will be protecting itself from the predators, guys. So these two are the different kinds of mechanisms seen in these frogs. So now you have to think that this frog, it is a just amphibian, and even if you see the heart of this frog, it is three chambered heart, but humans we have four chambered heart. So how we are developing our defense traits, we have to understand and we have to learn from this amphibian's case. Okay, how we have to protect our borders, how we have to defend ourselves from our enemies, everything we can learn from this frogs. So that is the one lesson which is mainly said by this article. Yeah, see this article, guys. IT industry, a major contributor to carbon footprint. Report finds. So what is the keyword here? You have to see about carbon dioxide emissions in atmosphere. So the keyword of this article is CO2 emissions. Okay, if you see about the CO2 in your atmosphere, in atmosphere it is nothing but the mixture of different gases. So which gas is having more amount in our atmosphere? Nitrogen. After that, oxygen. After that, carbon dioxide, how much percent? 0.03%. And before this there is 1. After that we have inert gases. So this is the normal contributions of different gases in our atmosphere. So if it is just 0.03%, we can maintain proper temperature in our atmosphere. But what we are doing, we are going for industrialization. Everyone is having their own personal vehicles. Vehicular exhaust is increasing day by day. We are going for burning of fossil fuels like coal, and even stubble burning is happening. So because of all these things, day by day there is increased carbon dioxide emissions. And even nowadays, even use of electronic gadgets are also had been increased, right? Everyone is having their own mobile phones. Not only a single mobile phone, we have our laptop, we have our tablets, whatnot, and even smart watches which require charging, electricity. So because of this, what happened? We increased usage of electricity. So if you take India as an example, most of our 70% of our electricity that we are generating from coal, that is thermal electricity. So if you are burning coal, what happens? Again, that will lead to increased carbon dioxide emissions and as well as sulfur dioxide emissions in atmosphere, right? And especially this article is saying that nowadays in this IT industry, what is IT? Information technology industry. They are using laptops, they are using systems, and even they are using AI and as well as machine learning. So this AI and machine learning, if you want to use them, they will take more power consumption than ordinary system. So because of this, what happened? Furthermore increased usage of electricity, that leads to furthermore increased carbon dioxide emissions into our atmosphere. And not only that, guys, everyone in their lifetime, they will use minimum how many mobiles? Minimum in this present generation, minimum how many? Minimum 1. Okay, minimum only 1. So what is the lifetime of a mobile phone? How many years you can use that? 5 years, 3 years, based on that company. If it is China, it will be having less life. 1 month, China? 1 day kuda ayipotuda. Akash anta use chestunnadu. Okay, let it be. So actually we are using more mobiles, more electronic gadgets, that leads to more electronic waste. Do we have proper management of electronic waste in India? No. That is also leading to this increased environmental pollution because of this e-waste or electronic waste. Okay, all these are leading to this more carbon dioxide emissions together. That is about this study, guys. So how can you use this article when you are writing about carbon dioxide emissions? The first point that you have to write is IT sector is contributing more pollution. And you know, we have different sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. So industries we neglected, keep it aside. We are very good at services. IT sector comes under service sector. So that is also one reason why India is contributing to more carbon dioxide emissions. If you want to decrease this carbon dioxide emissions, already India came up with this intended national determined contributions INDCs, and also we have this target of carbon neutrality by 2070. That means if you want to achieve this, we need to invest more in this R&D, and we have to focus on more research and development and as well as technology, and more funds need to be invested to achieve this target, because it is not that much easy now. Because till today we studied that industries, vehicular emissions and thermal power, they are the leading factors for this carbon dioxide emissions. But now this report is saying that They are like minute. The major thing is IT sector, and we are doing very good in this IT sector. So now we have to go for more investment in this R&D and environment. Okay. Now let us see what exactly this article is saying. Information technology, that is IT industry, is a driver for innovation connectivity. So without this IT, there will be no innovation, there will be no advancement in science and technology, then even there will be no proper connectivity. But this is one of the significant contributor to global carbon footprints. So recently, one report said that there is increased global greenhouse gas emissions because of this IT sector. Okay, wow, what is this IT sector, how it is contributing is, the first one here is, we are establishing data centers to protect data, to collect data and to preserve data, which is powered with cloud computing, and we are using AI there, and we are having vast online services. It's in every nook and corner of our country, even very remote areas also. We are providing this online services. It is mainly possible because of this geo, right? And major energy consumers are AI, machine learning, and as well as online services. So these facilities, they require constant electricity for operation cooling. So for that we will use more energy, more carbon dioxide emissions. And next one here is, we are going for manufacturing of devices. Because of increasing of science and technology, every day there is new advancement. So recently, yeah, I want to add this. So if you have seen this news yesterday, there is one news which is very much viral. That news is, China came up with jellyfish drones. Have you heard this? Jellyfish drones. That is very much similar to that of real jellyfish, but it is not jellyfish, it is a drone. And they want to go for monitoring of underwater operations. And actually it is a very important, because it is also going to be a big threat for India. And that jellyfish is having one AI chip and as well as camera with high resolution. If they are releasing that kind of jellyfish into the Indian waters, in Indian Ocean region, so they can have the capability of finding of pipelines, and even we have submarines, and we then they can also have a look over what kind of operations that we are doing in this water, and even underwater cables. So because of this, they can easily identify them, and even they can attack our Indian related infrastructure in water. So we don't know what it's going to do in the future. Because of increasing of advancements, obviously we are shifting towards one after another. Yes or no? Especially you, they are more attracted towards this electronic devices. So because of this, what is happening here? More manufacturing. Again, more manufacturing, more releasing of carbon dioxide emissions. And next one is, we are also increasing this e-waste. So what happens here is, normally whenever we are not using mobile, the parents in our family, what they'll do, they just keep in this municipality box. Yes or no? And next day what happens, this municipality guy will come and he will take. And finally they will dump in a dumping yard. So there will be raining, there will be very high sunlight, and winter season. So because of different seasons, what happens? That will lead to the, whatever the toxic substances which are used in that electronic devices will get leached and will be entering into our environment. That will lead to more pollution of our environment degradation. And if you see across the globe, mainly millions of this electronic waste is produced every year. But if you see the recycling rate, it is very, very minimal recycling rate. And this one is, even if you are using this AI, especially this large language models that require immense computational power, and even the training of these models also involves thousands of processors. So they will require more electricity, guys, and that will lead to significant carbon emissions. So these are the reasons why this IT sector is contributing to more pollution. Okay, so here, that is the thing. And now you have to see the impact. So because of this, what is happening? There is increased climate change, and even whatever the resource we are having, so we are going for exploitation of resources, and that will lead to depletion of resources in future. And even this IT sector needs more water as well. and that will also leads to pollution, guys. Our next topic is a very important topic. Title says developing nations need 12 times more funds to fight climate crisis. Okay, so here this article is talking about developing nations. So this article is saying that United Nations came up with a report, and this United Nations report is saying that developing countries has to invest 12 times more funds to fight against climate change. Whatever the funds you are investing in this R&D, environment protection will not at all sufficient. We need to invest more, 12 times more. So the name of that report is Annual Adaptation Gap Report. And who releases this? UNEP. Write down. UNEP Annual Adaptation Gap Report released. And this report said developing nations has to invest 12 times more funds in climate change. Why? Because already if you categorize different countries across the world, we can categorize into 3 types: developed, developing, and least developed. Developed countries, what they'll do? They already came up with industrial revolution far ago. So because of this, what happened? Whatever the amount of carbon dioxide emissions and pollutions they released, already they released. So because of that increased pollution, that is having impact on this developing and as well as least developed countries. And now these developed countries are saying, this developing and least developed countries, that you have to minimize your carbon dioxide emissions and you have to focus on R&D like that. Already these developing and least developed countries, they don't have proper funds, proper technology to control this climate change. And now these developed countries are restricting this developing and least developed countries against industrial revolution, guys. So because of this, this article is saying that whatever the change that happened in our climate, it is because of developed countries. But who are facing impacts? Developing countries and as well as least developed countries are facing this extreme weather events. So here, what are those extreme weather events? Because of carbon dioxide emissions and global warming, what happened? Melting of glaciers. Because of melting of glaciers, sea level rise. And also in some areas they have heat waves, droughts, floods, other climate related disasters. And actually developed countries came up with a promise that they are going to provide finance to this developing and least developed countries under this Glasgow Climate Pact, but they didn't give that. And not only that, in COP29 also they said that they are going to give at least $300 billion for this developing and developed countries by 2035. It is also considered that it is insufficient for actual needs now. Okay, so that is the thing, nothing more than that. So what is the impact now? So if governments of developing countries are investing more in this climate change, can they focus on their governance? Can they focus on their schemes? Can they focus on fighting off their problems like poverty, hunger, malnutrition, women empowerment? Of course, no. So because of that, what happens if they're not focusing on environment? That will lead to increased disasters. Furthermore, that will lead to loss of lives and as well as livelihood. So we are going to have a double burden now. And next one is economic setbacks. So climate impacts are undermining development gains in these nations. And actually, for example, if you're going for any infrastructure development in a village, but that village is vulnerable to this kind of disasters. We went for laying of roads. Roads are like very good and we done with that roads. But suddenly some disaster happened that led to this disruption of roads. Then what happens? So can we use these funds properly? No, right? So actually this article is saying that because of these disasters in developing and as well as least developed countries, even though if they are going for developmental activities also, that will lead to going into the extreme poverty in that region. So there is no proper utilization of funds in that region. That will lead to significant economic losses. So even World Bank came up with an estimate. It says that climate change could push an additional 100 million people below poverty line by 2030 in India. In India, by 2030, if you're not focusing on climate change, 100 million people, they are going to go below poverty line. So you can see estimates. So how this climate change will be going to have impact on the lives, livelihoods, economy of a country. And next one here is whatever the global goals we have. For example, we have sustainable development goals. So United Nations came up with 17 sustainable development goals, and by which year we have to achieve that? By 2030. Even though we are not going to achieve that, that is the thing which mainly said we are going to miss this global goals. Because of this climate change, that will further leads to increased inequality between the nations, inequality in people also. So what is the way forward? What can be done? We have to go for mobilizing of private capital, because government is not having this proper funds. So now we have to ask this private people to invest in this climate change. And this one is we have to reform what are the financial institutions which are there. For example, multilateral development banks. We have Asian Development Bank, we have New Development Bank, we have IMF, we have World Bank. So in all these banks, we have to come up with the reforms so that these organizations or these banks, they have to now give loans regarding this climate change. That is the urgent need now. And this one is we have to address the debt burdens on vulnerable nations, and we have to go for prioritizing of adaptation, okay, regarding this climate change. And let us see the next article. Title says an amended constitutional bill, its contentious issues. So just see about what is this 130th constitutional amendment bill. Already I discussed this in the month of August, if I am not wrong, because it came up in August. So actually recently our central government introduced Constitution 130th Amendment Bill in Parliament to amend articles. Please make a note. Article 75, Article 164 and Article 239AA. So can anyone tell me what are these articles talking about? 75 deals with? 75 deals with? Come on. Article 75. Article 164. Article 239 deals with? Union territories. Okay. So actually this Article 75, Article 164 and Article 239 AA talks about Council of Ministers, State Council of Ministers, Union and State, and next one is Special Administrative Provisions for Delhi. Okay. So actually this bill, it is going to provide a provision for removal of Prime Minister, Chief Minister and any other minister in the central level and state level, and as well as governments of Union Territory who held in custody for 30 consecutive days for serious criminal offence. If there is any serious criminal offence against Union Minister or even Prime Minister or State Ministers or governors of UT, for 30 days, if they are in jail, they can be removed from their post, guys. That is about this 130th Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2025. And this bill proposes amendments to Article 75, Article 164 and Article 239 AA of our Constitution. And the same provisions are extended to UT of Puducherry also. And even Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill 2025 also applies the same provisions for this LGs. And even they're going to have a joint parliamentary committee regarding this detailed examination and discussion of this bill. So later on, it will be again introduced in the parliament, and if it is passed, it will be like a landmark bill which is going to remove even Prime Minister, Council of Ministers of central level and as well as state level, and even administration of this UTs will be also getting changed. And we have to see whether it will be passed or not. We have to wait and see. Okay, so what are the arguments regarding this bill? Someone is saying that it is a constitutional moral, because if others who are doing this criminal offense, they are punished, so why not this people? It is a constitutional morality. All are equal before the law. And next one here is we can improve this public trust. If anyone who is doing any criminal offense and even corruption, illegal activities, now they can be put behind the bars and we can remove them from that post, so that obviously we can improve the trust of people on this government, and we can ensure good governance, and whatever the legal gap is there, we can bridge that legal gap, and even it will be like fair with other employees as well. So these are the arguments in favor of this bill, and try to think about the arguments which are against this bill. That is your work, guys. So these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindi newspaper. By this, I'm concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and please do like this class and share this class. You can follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing the PDF of this class, and even you can follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing prelims question with answer, mains question with model answer, and also current affairs in short. And even we are having two channels, Rathod's IS English and as well as Telugu channel. You can follow us on those both channels where we are recording shorts of this current affairs and important static topics also. Thank you so much, guys.